nothing to satisfy, but its divine, obviously. Its absence is the greatest actions done. Its presence is the smallest seed divine. Its presence made the smallest, you can strike out the seed. But if you strike off that thing, then the line will be lifting. It will be short of contour. It will be only for an earthing. Theoretically, one extra syllable is required. That extra syllable comes to sing. See, its praise is made, is hung, is sing, is mind. If you don't have that sing, praise is made, is hung, is mind. The line is living. Now, it is not for the purpose of making the line complete that you have to sing. Obviously, it is not the demand of poetry that has brought sing here. It is actually an assertion. It is not seen, it is an assertion. It is an assertion. Its presence made the smallest of the mind an assertion. Seen here is an assertion of a statement. That is the poetic technique. That is the way of language. Because it is not apparently, it is not as if, it is not probably. It means, yes, it is. Presence made the smallest, yes, divine. That seeing is serving the purpose of yes.
But there was another scene
Yeah,
upstairs,
that one,
and you didn't explain it in the same way.
you want to go back to that scene?
Yeah, because you said really it was seen.
Yeah,
it's not
I
true.
believe it's seen.
And why now it's another meaning? I
Yeah.
don't understand. Here,
Seemed far off.
it seems it's not far, but it seems far. So
Where is the scene?
here,
Hidden by its own works.
But this is
It
different.
seemed far off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
so
This
is
is
it far or is it
It
seemed
seemed.
far? Why
It
the
is
other
not.
one?
It means that it is not.
This is correct.
It
It
is
seems
not
far,
really.
but this is correct.
Why?
The other
How
one,
we
no.
can-
The other one, no.
Why?
It means it is not really.
No, this is correct.
Yeah, okay, but why the
It's
other one is
only
not
you.
correct?
You think it is far.
It's
but
not the
it's
same
not
idea, no?
far.
It's
Huh?
different.
That's why.
Hidden
This is
by
my
so-
question.
see.
Why the other one is not correct?
What it means is that you have got two negatives. Hit, seemed.
Wait, again.
Huh?
Not again. Two
It is
negatives.
as if you have got two negatives.
Yeah.
Hit and seemed.
Ah.
Come
It
on.
is not really hidden. It looks as if it is hidden.
Yeah. Of course, it is obvious.
Huh.
But because we're living in a cave of darkness, to us, we don't understand
Exactly.
that this is not it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We think it's something else, but this is it.
Seemed has a positive
Yeah, yeah.
sense. It is not probability. It is not likelihood.
Yeah, of
Now,
course.
here I understand very well that it seems far because hidden by the wall.
Because it is hidden.
But the other one also,
In reality,
it
Because it is
seems,
hidden.
it seems also small.
If you take away what is hidden, what is hiding, it doesn't seem far. It is close.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Hidden
This
by
okay.
word, it's close
This
by.
okay, I understand. Even the other
If you
one.
take away the darkness, it is right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you can see it.
This I understand.
Okay, now
The
this
other one,
Oh.
I don't understand why it doesn't seem. Why the seem it's only superfluous.
But here, its presence made the smallest divine.
Yes. Not as if.
Not, it does
It is.
make that divine.
It is.
Otherwise, what is the presence there for? It is not putting a glass.
Okay.
But why using sim?
See, it serving the purpose of yes.
Of what?
Yes.
Serving the purpose of yes.
It is divine.
That's the way of English language.
It
It's
is
the way of
divine.
language.
It is.
Everything is divine.
It is an
But to
assertion.
you, it doesn't look like divine.
Yeah.
It is an assertion.
To us.
Yeah.
Because to us, it looks like a table and a chair, and but why should this be divine?
It is an
Pen
assertion.
and a table.
When it was there, the heart's abyss was filled.
You seem to be healing.
Well, that's all.
Actually, you are the divine manifestation.
But when the afflicting deity withdrew,
No, I accept that
existence
everything is
lost
divine.
its aim in a whatever.
This is
It's
fantastic.
okay.
Lost its aim I mean, Sri Aurobindo is fantastic.
Existence lost.
Yeah.
Obviously, when that is not there, then what becomes? Then the whole thing becomes illusion, maya, etc., etc., dream of the thing. When it is not there, but when it is there, then it really appears to us. It is the divine which gives value to what is here. It is the divine content which is present here that gives value to things here. Existence lost its aim in a he says this is the word lost. It's true. We have forgotten what we are called.
It takes so long to remember.
If you don't admit the presence of the divine here, the world becomes an illusion, contentless. And the best thing is to walk away from here. The order of the immemorial flame, the godlike fullness of the instrument, return to crops of an impermanent sea. So all the climbing planes, physical, mental, vital, etc., all the spiritual gods, even higher God. He said the gods are pursuing. The says the gods are pursuing. So he is standing there. Even the gods cannot grasp it.
Yeah.
The gods cannot grasp it. The order, the immemorial, the order means the hierarchy. Or the immemorial plane. The godlike fullness of the instrument, everything appears godlike. But turn to props for an impermanent extreme. So they became the support or things that transient. So this is what that is, that one is, that being is. Tattve, Tatvantarite. Here it is for all that description. The whole section up to this one, we can say, is a revelatory commentary on the Isha Upanishad. All the 12 sentences are a kind of a revelatory commentary on the Isha Upanishad. So he has already seen, so to say, he has already seen the unknowable. He has understood the unknowable. He grasped, he has known the unknowable. Therefore he said, but who that mighty enough, he knew not yet. Who that unknowable is, who that being is, who has created, is here is far, who is that? He will know that thing. And he said, but who that mightiness not, he knew not yet.
Exactly. So it seems.
It means that he will know. It means that he will know. He is approaching it. He is about to know it. Who that mightiness was, he knew not yet. He has to know it. He is pursuing it. He has to taste it. He has to know it. But who that mightiness? He speaks of mightiness. He is not speaking of being. He is not speaking of unknowable. He is not speaking of pure, impenetrable, etc. But mightiness. It is the aspect of the power. The presence is hidden by the power. Who is the power? Who can hide the presence? Who is the mightiness? Who can conceal, keep away from us that presence? Who is that? And it is that which is knowable. It is as if the Absolute has its window opened out for the manifestation through her. It is she who is standing. This is Satchidananda, who is the throne of silence. And beyond that is Absolute. Nothing can do. That Absolute has stationed her at this entry point. So if we have to really go into the unknowable, it is through her we could talk. It is she who is standing. In what? The power of expression and absolute. It is she who is controlling everything, every action, every activity, every part of manifestation. And therefore he is wondering who is she that mightiness. So now that he has become here, she, mightiness. Therefore we knew not yet. She can be to some extent known. If at all you want to call it. Aditi, the Vedic Aditi. She, the power of expression of the Supreme. It is, if you had to approach the Supreme, if at all you can approach the Supreme, you would approach through God. He will tell you. So Ashwapati here, he is approaching that mightiness, impalpable, yet feeling all that he is. She who is really occupying everything. It made and blotted out in million words. Yes, it creates abstract, It's not here. Made and blotted out in million words. Not for the first time, you can create and absorb them again back to itself. It made. See that again, it stands for the same thing.
It. Who is it here?
It stands for the same
The
thing.
bee.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It made and blotted out in million words. In other words, Ashwapati knows that this unknowable had created many times in million words. They were reabsorbed.
Even?
They were reabsorbed. They came out, they were reabsorbed.
Yeah.
Now, how does he know? I don't know.
But he knows.
He knows it.
He knows.
How does he know that there were million words and they were absorbed? If they are absorbed, how do they know? that they were
Exactly,
there?
because he was absorbed. If he lived in one of them,
No, but
He should not know.
they don't leave any trace behind.
exactly,
Then how do they know?
there's no
How do
signboard.
they know that there were million words and they were reabsorbed?
Somebody must have told him.
I don't know.
Now, where did you see that Ashwapati?
Huh?
Where did you see that Ashwapati he was creating many times the world?
Because he says here,
This it means
he
it
made
means
and
like
blotted
this.
out a million. It made and blotted out. Who sees that? He, Ashwapati.
This one. Okay.
Who is saying all that? Who is saying that?
Million word it means one after the
Yes.
other. Oh, that is. Yes.
Therefore, how?
But Ashwapati has this knowledge.
Yes, I know.
He knows
but
that how
where from has that
Yeah,
knowledge
I
come
know.
to him?
But I was asking when in which book I didn't realize that this sentence it means one after.
because it is Sri Aurobindo, because this is Sri
No, but
Aurobindo.
still, see if it is
Yes, it's correct.
created and reabsorbed, then how does one know that when you are here? Well, in the absolute,
You
I
haven't
don't
seen
care
it.
In the absolute, I don't care what happens. But he is now climbing up, he is carrying the word desire, etc., from the mortal planes, etc. How does he know that the words were created and absorbed?
He
So
must
this-
have seen a pre-version of Savitri.
Must be possible. Must be possible.
I don't know. Matter to prosper in impermanency. But who that mightiness known, he knew not yet. Impalpable. Yet feeling all that is, it made and blotted out in millions. I am talking about this one. How does he have that knowledge?
Because he is a divine. At that moment, he was himself the divine who is creating
No,
a
he is
million
carrying
worlds.
the word that he has come here.
He's on
He
earth. He's on
he is
earth.
pursuing the unknowable.
Yeah, but at what time after Sri Aurobindo he touched it, he became this transcendent divine. So he knows about this. No?
No.
See, I don't know. I'm not able to understand this line. See, take it this way. The mother says, this is seventh creation.
Yeah.
There were 6 creations earlier.
Yeah, not millions.
Pralaya.
They disappeared.
World.
But
Not
that
creations,
knowledge,
worlds.
that knowledge is there because it is inscribed in the story of creation, which is accessible.
What is accessible?
Which is accessible,
History of creation.
inscribed, is present.
Pralayas are accessible.
Pralaya.
But if you are in the first world, which is absorbed, you don't know that there will be 6 or 7
You
more.
can't.
So,
Because you are able to access that, therefore you can know. But here he says billion words blotted out, created and blotted out. In other words, there are, I think, some kind of archives
yeah,
where
exactly.
the knowledge is written down,
Perhaps
and Ashwapati can
read it.
go into the archive and read all those things.
Isn't there something
The
like the
archive is the unknowable.
Akasha Chronic or something, where everything what has ever been created is actually archivized
In the archive is there.
Yes, maybe he could peep in there and look.
So in the archive you can go and read and access it.
Yes.
So
I think
why
because everything what has ever been created or was
if
ever
you have got
was,
the access to that archive, you can read the entire story.
it's called Akash
Archive
Chronicles.
is the unknowable. as they
Yes,
say.
but it's somewhere recorded.
Yes.
So,
Somewhere
yeah.
it's recorded. That is why I
Yeah.
am calling archive is the unknowable.
Yeah,
History.
yeah. If he has access to it, then
It made and blotted out a million words. Where from does he get that knowledge? I only can say that he has access to the archive, the unknowable.
perhaps, yeah.
He goes to the archives and reads it there, a story of creation. And took and lost 1,000 shapes and names. It's the same thing again. It has come, gone, come, gone, come, gone.
Why he, no?
Because it didn't succeed.
Why Sri Aurobindo, who attend this degree, he need archives?
Because
he knew
he-
by experience. He
he-
knew by experience this.
No,
things.
not experience. Because his timing up. He has not described that he has got that.
He's
thing
not
yet.
the avatar here.
No, I know. No, I'm not here. Not in this chapter. I mean, Sri Aurobindo, when he wrote the Savitri, when he wrote this chapter,
He knew that.
he knew already
Yes,
this.
yes.
I mean,
But
I
how
don't
does he
speak
know
about
that? How does
this
he know? But how does
Ashwapati
he know
level.
that? Unless he has got some kind of an access there.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Unless
By
there is something
experience,
kind
he
of
got
a
it.
record or script available there.
But it's not that he knew that he had this knowledge already.
He had it by
When you
himself.
wrote this-
No, within means what? Where from it comes?
Who did this Akashic memories? Who wrote
Who is
it?
writing it all
Who's
down?
writing? Yes.
Who is the secretary there?
Now, who is better
is
than
meeting
Sri
here?
Aurobindo
There
to
is a
write
divine
this?
scribe, right? Even someone who is
Yes,
writing
I
everything.
think automatic writing with the computer.
But it is somewhere in Savitri,
Yeah,
this
you
archive
are
of
It's there, it's
It is
there.
there in
It
Savitri.
has to be there.
Yeah.
That's why I am calling it the archive the unknowable. It bore the guise of an indiscernible past. Okay. Or was a subtle kernel in the soul. So there you are, subtle kernel in the soul.
What is the kernel?
Memory, that
I look in
knowledge
the dictionary.
that is present, he
Essence.
feels
Listen.
Subtle essence. Okay, let
a
me.
distant greatness, let it use and dim. Because it's so distant, therefore it is dim. A mystic closeness shut it sweetly in. The same sometime a
Even
payment
sometimes.
or
Only
a gold,
sometimes.
Sometimes.
and seeing sometime his own colossal shades. Because it is indescribable.